I'd like to use this design to illustrate that you can cut drafting time using a number of the drawing aids that are present in gCADPlus. Let's imagine that you were trying to produce a design. You've been asked for a formal design, say for a courtyard, and what you want to work with is some paving bricks. Cut some paving bricks to give you a planting area, put some ground cover or some edging plants around it. So we're going to need to cut our 600mm paving bricks. If you pay attention and use the drafting settings, let's go to polar tracking. This is a 600mm paving brick. We want to cut halfway through, so let's set our distance step at 300mm. What that means is if we start the polyline, because we'll make a closed shape, we can start it. Let's do it here, and we're trying to mimic that magenta shape there. Polar is on, and remember our step size is 300, so one click out to the left gives us 300. That gives us the 600. Then we come down, one click, one click, one click, one click, and close gives us the shape that we're after. The next step is to give our cut paving brick some sort of texture, and for that we might hatch it. So draw, hatch. It's a polyline, so we can simply hatch it using a concrete and stone pattern. We can OK that, and then we need to apply a colour to it. We'll try and pick a true colour by scrolling down through here, selecting the colour. We want a very pale colour, so I'm going to use true colour, and we come in here. One of these, if we move down into the bottom of the true colour, pick somewhere like so, and then pick a very faint grey on this side. Will give me a concrete paving type colour, I hope. And let's fill it, and we'll say yes, it has a border, and we'll pick a border colour as well, and I'll right click and unselect all. So there's our paving brick that's been cut, had a texture applied to it and a colour applied to it. The next step is we want to use the mirror command, because everything is symmetrical in this sort of formal design work. So we can wrap a box around everything, and at this point I want to mirror it with leaving a gap between the two. So I'll just escape from there, right click and go to drafting settings, and remember we had a polar tracking distance step of 300. What I want to do is to set a grid, or we could use polar tracking still, I think, and come back to a 50mm gap, and we'll try that. So now when we pick this one and we say mirror, we're going to mirror with a copy. It's asking for the first point of the mirror line. What we need is a snap. We don't have a line out there, we need to find one. So I'm going to go back to drafting settings and change, leave polar at, actually we'll make it 100, and then we'll come back to the grid, make the grid 50, and we'll turn the grid on. And I hope you see why. And now let's select the paving brick, and we're going to mirror it. And now with snap on, if I come down into the status line, turn snap on, and you see I can get to a nice vertical line about which we can mirror things. So it's just a click and we're done. Hit escape to remove the selection. Select those two again, and again mirror, and we can again find a suitable mirror line like so. It's not quite the same shape that I drew earlier, but it's following the same principles. So there's we're laying this garden out using 600mm paving bricks, and we can easily add additional paving bricks. The design calls for a paving brick underneath, and that becomes very easy to draw with the polyline command. And remember, because snap is on, we can get I'll keep my gap constant, come across there to there and down to there. I could, because we're in polyline, I need 600, I can say at 600 and just point in the direction I want to go and click and then close. And you see we're using a combination of tools in gCADPlus. Pick that one and mirror it about that same line and click. Then we could just match the properties of that paver to that one and that one, and then they just need to apply some hatching or hatch. We could pick both 600mm pavers and apply the same hatch there. So there are the pavers that our team will lay down, and we might want to copy those from, say, this point here up to that point there. We can get rid of this one. So the design is now being developed quite nicely. Well, you'll notice that the design on the left has a row of pavers running vertically up in this case. So what I've done is made a block of a single paver and I've copied it across here. So it's just a matter of copying, and again, because our snap is on at the appropriate intervals, you can see that we can very easily create a series of pavers. I've copied this one down this time. Like so. And we'll just take, we'll just take the whole row and copy that whole row across. We could have used the array command, of course, but can you see the shape of the design is taking place quite nicely. It's now time to pretty things up and put some planting in. Well, the design calls for the focal point to be outlined with dwarf mondo grass around the edge there. So I've brought in a mondo grass symbol. I've copied it across using that same step size. So let's grab all of these and we'll see if we can mirror them. And click, and that gets them done in that direction. Now I suggest we would simply copy that one. Well, I need to position things just a little, so I'll take my snap off and then I can grab that copy set and just do, and I'll take polar off too, I think, which gives me now an ability to finesse them a little, so I can move and I'll pick it up by the center point and sort of come down to do that. And now we've got them selected, we can mirror them across this center line. Whoops, try that again. We just want this central group here, mirror, and we now need to put snap on so that we can click there and like that. So there's our design taking shape. We now need to bring in this symbol here, which is called MP. So let's go to our blocks and pick MP and insert it into the drawing, and we should be able to position it nicely like so, and there we have it. Well, in our design we have 3 instances of this, so we want to make a block of it. So let's select it all, right click, and we'll call this, we'll give it a block, we'll call it focal, and we want to pick point to be the center of that circle, and we'll OK it. So now we should be able to just pick that one and copy it. We've still got our snap and grid on, and copy it up into position like so, and come down here. We want another one in that position there, and we are looking good. So maybe to finesse things a little further, we copy those two and come up like so, and these two can be copied across. Can you see the advantage of mirroring and the lock and grid? So I probably want one more row up the top here, like so. I've got things slightly off, haven't I? And I can't quite see why. We've got a bigger gap through here than through there, so is that because we need to move that across like so? I think that looks a little better. I must have skewed and just gone off a little as we were doing it. Well, I'm continuing the design work now, still on a 100mm grid, and I can grab hold of all of these. I've decided to put paving butting one another in this area, and I can select those and move them up and see how neatly I can butt those 600mm paving stones are now joined together with a butt finish and providing me with a nice walk-through space. Designing is just a matter of copying and come down like so, and our contract team is going to have to do some cuts for some half pavers or so in this area through here. And because we've been drawing on this grid, it's very easy to use the rectangle command and just click and click, and there's a rectangle, and it's easy to then copy the properties of the half paver adjacent and apply it to the new one. I'm intending to specify 3 layers of hedging plants, so it's quite a simple matter to select a hedge and then copy it. Our grid is still on, so I can track quite easily upwards. At this point I'd probably put Bowler on to help me track up in that easy vertical direction, as I've definitely had some cleaning up to do at the top there. But in this zone on the right hand side, I'm sure I'll change my view. I'm going to change drawing colour to a sort of crushed dolomite background colour for road base or whatever we choose to use there, and draw a rectangle, and for the moment we'll just pick that point there and here and select that rectangle that we just put in. I'll zoom in so I can select it, and then apply a fill to it, and then send it to the back using the draw order tool. And there we have the beginnings of our design. We have a wide open path here suitable for foot traffic, and this area through here has the feature of the 3 specimen trees that we hope will be in full flower. And if we zoom in a little, you can see we have some liriops specified there at the base. I probably want to mark that hole in the centre of the cut of the pavers a little more clearly. But I hope you see that our design is taking shape, and that we are designing in the CAD system, and we are using an electronic grid to assist in the design process. Well, I thought you might like to see the results of about a half an hour of designing. You see I've rotated the design around. There are some wooden steps planned to descend from a higher level down into this courtyard. There are our feature species, deciduous flowering species. I've put some additional ones across through here, so it's a very formal design, not finished yet, but 3 layers of hedging and some compressus glauca to give some sense of scale and height in that corner. and I've yet to fill in the details of the walling here. There's some screening. This is a higher wall across the top, a lower wall, but we're going to put some screening on top of that wall. Finally, let's have a little look at the PDF file that's generated from this design. Well, here's a PDF file generated from this preliminary stage of our design work. I always like to do one at this stage to see that we're heading in the right direction.